Okay. Oh, this is a different one. Okay. No, I'm sorry. This is a different resume. Okay. So let's see here. Vertical computer management, SEC filings. Okay, great. So this is 2001. That's awesome. That's fine. And again, I don't like these things that people write at the top. Again, this is just, these start appearing when people start getting harder to employ. That's basically the rule. People can pick up all this stuff that read your resume, and so you don't necessarily need it. And I wouldn't recommend putting that up there. If you don't need to put 90 Los Angeles, California. If you have a 310 area code, everyone's going to know that's LA anyway, but you can. You typically don't want to put a link to your LinkedIn profile unless you want to make sure that's perfect as well, because sometimes people will go look at your LinkedIn profile and they will disqualify you based on not having enough contacts, or who knows, or that you're connected to people they don't like, and all sorts of things. But you just need to be very careful about that. Okay, so for vertical computer systems, and I'm sure this is not the real name of the place. Switch it around. Okay, so this is probably okay. I would probably put that. I would probably, let me just, here, let me take all this stuff you've done here. I would probably, you can leave some of this up there. I don't know that it's that bad. I don't like this, trusted LASIK surgeons. If I was an employer and I saw this, I think that's going to disqualify from most jobs. No one's going to know that you're running a business on the side. People want to believe, and this is something that here everyone needs to understand. It's actually very important. People need to believe that when you go to work someplace, that your dedication, your heart, body, and soul, and everything is with that employer and helping that employer. If you're going out and founding businesses, these are obviously going to take time of yours during the day, and they're obviously going to detract from the service that you can give to your main employer. So you need to be very careful anytime you're starting a business, especially if you're running at the same time. And this goes back to what I talked about earlier, like people want to feel important. And your job when you're trying to get a job is not to feel important and feel like you run a business and you have all this stuff. You just don't need that. You take that off and all of a sudden you've got an interesting resume here. What does this person do between, I'm going to miss something here, 2007. Yeah, 93 they graduated. I don't know what this person was doing between this period and 93, unless I deleted it. But this resume is much better. And this is your free time that you're doing. Anytime, by the way, that I've hired someone that's had a business on the side, I've always discovered later that they were spending the majority of their time running their business and not working for me. These are the people that are the riskiest hires. They're the people that will steal. I almost hired a person once that wanted to come over as an accountant, and he had a business on the side. And he got a job at another company as an accountant, and then had that other company write checks to the IRS, supposedly for their taxes, but it was actually his taxes. There's all sorts of problems when employers hire people that have businesses on the side. All these things, you don't have to say you're a first-in-class communicator. You let the employer learn that. And this right here, when you take a look at this, as opposed to what was there before, this person suddenly looks, and if you're not going to tell people what your address is or where your house is, there's no reason to just put something like that. Again, that's hiding the ball. Why do you want to start things off like that? There's nothing wrong with just saying your name and phone number, and people know you're in LA, so there's no reason. But if you're taking off and hiding your address, you're basically telling, I'm not going to tell you where I live, but I live in LA. Obviously, you live in the LA area if you have LA there. Anytime you're doing that, people can pick up on that and they'll say, maybe I don't trust this person. So this is how I would do that. I would be careful about all this bolding and stuff and underlining. It's just distracting. I would try to be I don't know what all this bolding is here, and just take it out. And I don't know if it's communication studies that you did, but yeah, that's fine. And Dean's honor list for what? The whole 4 years it doesn't really matter. So that's how I would plan that. And then you have a much better resume here, and you can see how we were able to shorten it and make it just much better, and then take off all this stuff. All this stuff here is about you, and which is fine, but no one, this means you're, putting this on that you running this company as the founder, president, general counsel is just a red. No one that knows what they're doing is going to want to hire you. So you'd have to put yourself in the shoes of an employer seeing this. They would be very nervous about it. So I would be very careful. But I think everything else is excellent. I don't like that this experience doesn't seem to track with what you did at your other employer. So I would probably take that out, and I might But if you've done anything related to all the securities related stuff, at this M value, I would do that. You don't need to say you only had that job for 10 months and it was 20 years ago. I would take that out and then you have this, and it's just much better. And it shows a lot of confidence and so forth compared to what was there before. And I look at this and say, this person is a great hire because they've been at the same employer for 19 years. I don't think, oh boy, they have a business. They might, who knows what's going to happen, or why are they writing all this crap? Like, what does this have to do? Because once you've had a job for 19 years, and this isn't the other thing too, I wanted to bring to everyone's attention, is one of the things that I always talk about here is, will they do the job long term? And that's something very important. If someone's going to stick around, that says a lot. That says a lot more, because there's all sorts of problems. I'm sure this company had tons of problems and all sorts of things that went wrong. And this person stuck around and did the work and got through it, while other people may not have. This person is a strong attorney. There's just good things about them. But the other problem is when you start putting things like you've had your business on the sides, do they want the job? And then that's a warning. Or will they do the job? Can they be managed? And all those other questions. You just don't want to bring those things up, really, or make those issue.